Another brand new episode with IGP. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Institution of Global Professionals International Free Webinar. So, thank you all of you for joining with us in this live session right now. And please stay with us till the end. So, my dear lovely participants, I'm your host for this session, myself Nasreen, and I'm from Bangladesh. So, ladies and gentlemen, really I'm proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. And yes, it's my delight to welcome you all to our Institute of Global Professionals free webinar. So thank you all for joining in this marvelous moment. And please stay with us till the end of our program. Dear participants, each time you can give or react in our live session, webinar, or comment in our comment box. Give a thumbs up to our Facebook official page and subscribe our YouTube channel. So don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in our comment box. I'm sure that you all will have many takeaways and payoffs from this webinar. So dear participants, let's learn together and grow together because we believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge, not holding. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm Nasreen, member in IGP. Welcome you all in this live session. So, dear participants, let's see who joined with us in this session in our comment box. Okay, we have Ma'am Isaiah Nachuman, we have Ma'am Royana Rodriguez, Ma'am Mary Jane, Ma'am Era, Ma'am Ernie, okay, Sir Alex Javier Alvarez, Sir Joseph Navalos Placer, Sir Mary Guna, then we have Sir Jasby, Ma'am Cherry Yamaguchi, Sir Nico Dan Miro, Ma'am Jenny Lynn Dela Cruz, Ma'am Evelyn Perry, Ma'am Simbulas, and Sir Michael Kevin. So thank you all for joining with us. And dear participants, every day, like in our live session, we have many new participants join from different places and time zones. So I'm sharing a little concept about IGP. IGP serves student and community resource, providing holistic social work and education to create a proficient generation. Institute of Global Professionals is a leading on online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. And we make it able to use for every knowledge seeker to originate personality, more ambitious, make confident to face any circumstance, and develop their own skills. And we are entrusted with international recognition. So Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institution provides social work. I believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. We organized our webinar, training, offline, online courses by best speaker and trained coaches from all over the world to create a best learning platform for all of you. And our mission is to empower people and enhance. And we have already completed our 610 number webinar. And today I'm presenting webinar number 611. And the topic is English Matters and School Management. So dear participants, let's start our program with IGP's mantra or slogan, that is feed your skills. Okay, so dear participants, let's welcome our honorable speaker from Philippines, Ma'am Lerin Sivinzon.
Hello,
Welcome.
good afternoon to everyone.
Good
In the
afternoon.
Philippines, it's good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to other part of the world.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming in IJP's platform.
Thank you, and thank you for the trust.
Okay, ma'am, so you can start your presentation.
Yes. So, good afternoon to all our audience. So, my topic for today is all about English matters and school management. I am Lailene Canlas Binson from the Philippines. Uh, Currently, I'm the officer in charge of the curriculum division of the City Division of San Pedro. And also, I am running a school, which I think is a huge school here in the Philippines, having a 2,500 students, public school. And I am now the principal of Southville Tree Elementary School. Now, my topic is English Matters. So, with this picture, what can you say? What can you tell me all about this picture? Most of you will think that they are trying to have a conversation, I guess. Uh, Others may think that they're having trouble communicating with others. But definitely, this picture tells us that there is a misunderstanding of what the message was sent from the other end. So that's one thing, and that's one big problem in our uh, communication skills. If we are not going to be able to communicate well, we are not be able to convey the message that we want others know and others would like to know from you. If you cannot give them the proper information, then definitely you will be misunderstood and you will not be able to have a proper ending of your communication. Communication is very important in a workplace, definitely. There are, although the disadvantages of poor communication may not tell us or may not show us instantly the effect, but would definitely, in the long run, you will see that the poor communication would be a disabling effect in our workplace. Signs of having bad communication in our workplace is that lack of specific communication. What do you want to know? What do you want to give me? What instruction you would want me to do? If you're not going to be able to tell it to me clearly, then definitely nothing will go through and nothing will follow the specific instruction that you want to do if you will not be able to give it correctly. So using the incorrect mediums to convey important message. This, however, needs to be addressed because it is not really a matter of if you're not an native language, English speaking language, then definitely you would say it's not the measurement of our intellect. Really, it isn't. But in a professional world, we must be able to speak the language. We must be able to communicate using the language. So if we are not able to communicate in a proper medium that we need to, then communication will fall. Passive and aggressive communication as well is a poor communication, lack of follow through and consideration, blaming and intimidating others, and failing to listen. It is important for us that if we communicate to our clientele or our colleagues, we must be able to have this confidence to tell them how important the message is, but intimidating them or blaming them for not understanding what you have given or what message you have given them is not proper. This will only lead us to more problem. We will only be creating problem rather than proper communication. It is also important that in a workplace, not everyone must speak. There is someone who must listen as well, so that there is an exchange of idea, an exchange of message on our both ends. So why do we need to learn English? Why English? Why other language as French, Spanish, or Chinese? English is our international universal language. Most of the people, probably about 1.5 billion, could speak English around the world. And it is really a language that 45 countries really use to to communicate with others, even in the foreigners. They use it. And others do recognize English as their dialect or their second language. In the Philippines, like Barbados, Ireland, Kenya, Malawi, Jamaica, Singapore, as well, Zimbabwe, Canada, and Papua New Guinea, although they have their first language, we also use this as our dehore or our official second language. That's why most of the people in these countries could really speak well of the language. Actually, French is the second used language in the world. But definitely, if we want to be global or can communicate globally, we must be able to understand and we must be able to use the language, not just by practicing the 8 parts of speech, which is the noun, pronoun, adjective, and others, but also we must know how to use the words correctly so that we could have a proper transfer of the message, or uh, the communication must go through a proper process. And English becomes popular over the past 100 plus years because of its flexibility. The language is full of loan words, and it's constantly absorbing new ones as it permeates cultural communities across the world. We call the English language as spongy because it is adaptable and could always absorb new words. And that's why our dictionary goes thicker and thicker and thicker, because every day or every year there is new words to be included in our dictionary so that our vocabulary would also grow. It is one important basic rule that we must uh, nourish our vocabulary. We must not be able to stop on the things that we know. If we know the word beautiful, what else or what word would also be used aside from it? Don't stick on it. You could use pretty, you could use gorgeous, you could use lovely, but never used in a sentence or in a paragraph the same word or the same adjective that you discuss or you describe a certain object. Um, Expressing or playing with your words may be able to give your reader, your listener, a good understanding of what you want to say if really we could focus on the language or the English words that you are going to use from your day-to-day uh, lives. So, how are we going to have a good communication? If we have this failing communication, if we have this poor communication, then definitely we do have this good communication skills that is essential in our daily living. The first one is always listen. Why listen? If you want to talk, the first skill you must be able to understand and you must learn is to listen. Why? Because by listening carefully, you will be able to understand and you will be able to grasp all the ideas being thrown at you. This is one good practice as well if you're going to listen to most of the conversation around you. If you want to learn more on how to express yourselves, especially when you want to have a good diction, pronunciation, why not listen to the most movies, conversation, news, the movie, the magazine, TV magazine. You could use that. You could listen to the conversation that they author or that they are doing from time to time. So you would be able to adapt how these words being played or how they are trying to throw words from each other. So when you listen, there will definitely learning. So that's number one rule. You better listen before you comment, before you speak, so that you could also learn from what you have heard. So that's one important thing. And number two, you need to be concise, meaning to say, directly go to the point. You do not need to use several adjectives, to use several verbs, or whatever parts of speech that you are expert of. But be specific of what you want to say, especially if you are giving instruction in the class or in the office. If you're not going to be specific of what you want them to do, then don't expect that they are going to do the things exactly as you think of, because you must tell them what you want to know, what you want to give them, what you want to do, so that they could understand it clearly. So, be specific and concise. Body language. How is it related to good communication? Definitely there is. Sometimes people don't understand the words, but with your reaction, with your proper body language, you help them understand what you want to say, especially if you're pointing at something. So can you please do that? Which one? If you're going to point something, then definitely they are going to uh, point on a certain thing or going to look at the certain thing you are pointing at. So your body language would help them a lot. Aside from your facial expression. There are times we speak the word, but most of the time we understand the facial expression. If we are happy, if we are sad, if we are angry, your face would definitely show the message. So that's the third one. And the fourth one, which I believe is also an important thing. To be confident enough. You cannot express yourself clearly if you are not confident on what you are saying. Confidence is a matter of believing in yourself. If you do not believe on your capability or on how you can manage a certain class or you can manage a certain office, then definitely no one would believe on your capability to communicate as well. So, with this listening proper, with this specific thing, including your body language, being confident is also important. Sometimes we are always thinking that are we uttering the correct word? Are we using the proper grammar? Are we writing it in a correct format? Again, if we are confident, everyone would understand what we want to say. So, aside from that, we should be open minded because this is a part of listening. When someone gives you an introduction, when someone gives you a comment, if you cannot accept it or you're not open minded on how you're going to accept the facts or going to accept the issues and concern in a certain group, then you will be failing to communicate. So, again, it is part of listening to be an open minded person. When you listen, you need to have a broad understanding of what really is the issues and concern of a certain person that is coming or asking for your instruction or for your concerns as well. And respect. Why is it important to have respect with this good communication? Definitely, it is important for us to have a balance. There are people who are not confident to speak the language. There are people who cannot speak fluently of the English language or even other languages. You're not confident to do that. Others are. So, is it right to blame them? Is it right to intimidate them? No, it's not right to bully them or make fun of them because they cannot express or they cannot use the language correctly. But if we respect them and we tell them that's how to use the language or how to speak the language or how they are going to say the word, then you will gain respect from the person you are talking to. And using the correct medium as well. Highfalutin words really sounds good. Indeed, it is. Only for those who uses it as well. We cannot use a technical words in conversing, in saying or giving an instruction. We cannot use words that could only be found in an Oxford or certain history book or love book if the others doesn't understand that. Then there wouldn't be communication on that part, because who are we talking to must be able to understand what we are saying. So it is important for us to know which word we are going to use so that we could easily communicate to our audience or to our um, friends and colleagues. So it is essential, again, listening, concise, body language, confidence, open minded, respect, and using the correct medium. So, if we do this, if we put this on our mind, then definitely we will be having a good communication skills. And then definitely we will be able to convey, or we will be able to share, or to transform our thoughts into the language that we want the other to understand. Okay, so again, so it is an essential communication skills for our career, for our professional growth, for ourselves as well. So how are we going to improve if we already know how to communicate? So improving our communication skills, especially in English, we must first reduce the speaking speed. Why? If you're used to, example, how to improve your English communication skills, reduce speaking speed, practice with conversation partners, records the conversation. If we do that, then definitely our listeners won't be able to understand what we are saying or what we want to tell them. So if we do reduce our speaking speed according to who are we talking to, how they manage to understand the language, then we could definitely be able to have their attention to be able to speak towards against us. Because there are some, especially if you're a tourist, most of the time people would ask and use English language, but not every person in that certain country could understand English. But if you speak as to how they understand, or how to grab the language, the message, then they would be able to respond to your question. Okay, next is to practice with a conversation partner. Yes, indeed. I agree with this. Even if you study in a tutorial class of whatever language you want to learn, or you want to learn Japanese, you want to learn Chinese, if you are not practicing it on a daily basis, you will forget everything what you have learned. So, if you want to learn, if you want to be fluent enough, have a conversation partner. Talk to them basic to professional level, so that from time to time you would gain, you would understand, you would be able to be confident enough to speak of the language that you are trying to learn, especially English. There are several Englishes in the worldwide. Probably you've heard about the British English, the American English, the Australian English. So they are all English, but they are all different in the accent. So that's different only in the accent. But the way they speak, the way they want to share the idea is just the same. Accent most of the time really is bothering, especially if you are not familiar with it. But like what number two says, if you continue practicing, then you would be able to go through on this improvement of your English communication skills. Next, record the conversation. Why do you need to record? So that from time to time, you would be able to go back to what you have talked about. Probably, if you're conversing with a fluent uh, English speaking person, you would learn more. Like example for the word isle and the isle as in the island and the isle as in the center, you would be able to define how is it pronounced. So um you have this word bank in your recording uh, gadget. Then practice with videos and music. Nowadays, this is not an issue. Even if you have this phone, smartphone, you could always practice the language. You could always understand how noun, how pronoun, how gerund can be used by clicking on your YouTube. So you would be able to understand that. And also, if you love music, try to use the try to play an English music and understand and feel what is the message of that music or what the message of that lyrics so that you would also gain from the music aside from enjoying it, because most of the lyrics do have something to tell us. It's just like a poem being sung. Okay? Then read aloud. Are you saying it correctly? So you need to read it aloud. You could also use the Webster online dictionary, which also tells you how the word being pronounced. So, like conversation, like speed. How is it being pronounced? It is not an issue anymore. There is what we call a gadget that would help us understand or gain from certain things that we have around us. Then focus on pronunciation. For a beginner, let us not be mindful of a certain error, because if you continue practicing, then definitely things will go right from the time on that you are practicing. Example, you pronounce the word business, which should be business. You pronounce the word communication. So, how is it should be? Others would pronounce it communication because they're practicing. let us not have, let us not intimidate if we know the pronunciation. Let's help them to be more confident on how to use the word or read the word. Next, learn sentences instead of words. Why? Because sometimes there are several words in one sentence, but the message is just as simple as one word. But there are people who love to play words. That's why they use more words, but only want to say it in several sentences, but only telling us one thing. Improve again, the listening skill is as important. That is why that is number one on our previous slide. And then improve your body language. So this is how to improve your English communication skills. That's why English really matters when you are a professional. Okay? So that's for our English matters. It is important for us to understand, again, to understand how to communicate according to our message. And if we are going to use the correct word or correct instruction to be given, then definitely we will be communicating to each other. Other one will respond to what you want to say. But if you weren't able to give them the correct information that they need to know, don't expect that there will be a proper response on the message that you have given or proper action on the instructions that isn't clear to the other person. So, school based management. Okay, so if there are other questions, other queries on the English matters, uh, you may message the question so we could discuss that later. So, school based management. Why is it important to for us to understand the school-based management? It is decentralization that identifies the individual school as a primary unit of improvement and relies on the distribution of decision making to the school level as the primary means throughout which improvements might be stimulated and sustained. Why is this connected to English matters? When you are handling a school, when you are trying to administer a certain group, when you are managing a school and a group, then there must be a proper communication using a proper English or proper words so that everyone on the level would understand your goal, your message, and your objective. Without this proper management involving everyone around you in the school, then management would fail. SBM is really on a partnership basis. There is principal, teacher, students, parents, stakeholders. They are all responsible in managing the school, not just the principal, not just the teacher, nor the students, but everyone in the community is involved in managing a certain school, so that there would be success, there would be collaboration, there would be good outcome of each and everyone's decision in the school. And this would definitely a product, a good management would really result on a good product that would benefit our learners. Okay, so especially nowadays that we have this pandemic, it's worldwide. No one is spared of this issue. That's why most of the people around the world really think of certain idea on how we could continue education even on pandemic days. We made partners with our parents. We made partners with our stakeholders because school alone cannot do what had happened previously without our partners. So, school based management definitely is a partnership, and the product of this would really benefit our learners. Next, school effectiveness. How is it going to be effective? Definitely with proper leadership. If we have skilled and committed teachers, leadership is easy as 1, 2, 3. If we have a focus, a certain goal, which is the learning result, then leadership is easy. If everyone in our community is responsible and accepting the challenge of being a partner of the school, then leadership is easy. So when we say the leader or leadership, this is all about the principals, school directors, and they are the one who's responsible on improving a certain plan developed locally by their partners. And those partners are, again, teachers, parents, learners, and the stakeholders. They are your partners to have a improved plan that would create a good um, plan on how our learners would learn from this, because parents do have something in mind that we leaders or teachers could not understand. Only parents. There are these things that learners would have gained, but we cannot give them because we weren't able to listen to their voices. If we are going to give them space on our certain plan, then definitely it would be successful because voice of these beneficiaries were able to be spread out. Then leadership is all about managing resources. So if we do have proper management of resources, implementation of the plan would be as good as it go. Then, if we do have this committed and skilled teachers, your plan will definitely go a long way. Teachers really are scattered nowadays. There are good teachers, and there are some who are just there to teach and doesn't want to give more of can what they want to give. So they just contented on the classroom scenario. They are just happy enough to do the 6 hour 8 hours learning process. But there are some teachers who would really love to give more of what they do. They are not counting things. They are not trying to make um, issues on certain hours that they are giving. Also, there are teachers who really exceeded the expectation of a certain school leaders. They provide ideas, innovations that would benefit our learners, and those teachers must be nourished. And those teachers must be supported. And these teachers who just want to play along, you must tap them because they are our partners. Probably they are not a type of person who would speak of their mind. So maybe they need some time or they need a tap on the back or on the shoulder of what they could have given or they could give uh, us. And I believe all teachers has something to share in each of the schools we are into. And if we have this one goal, which is the focus on learning results with the partnerships that we have, then definitely we will be aiming on that. If we are going to improve our plans, emphasizing on our goals, on improving learning teaching process, then this information of learning at all levels is also transparent. If the goal is to focus on the learning results, then our school will definitely produce globally competitive learners because we are not looking at a certain backlog or what we missed, but we are focusing on good results on how we teach our learners. If we're properly nourishing or if we are giving enough or we are giving the proper learning, then no doubt that the school would have a results that everyone is expecting. And responsibility is also an important thing that we need to understand. If we have the goal, then let everyone in the community understand their responsibility. Does SBM have advantages? Yes, there is. Allow competent individuals in the schools to make decisions. That's the first one. Because we have already decentralized. We have given a certain decision making process in our community. So, if this happens, there are people or there are stakeholders who would be uh, glad to be sharing their ideas or decisions that they think will help improve the learning process. That like what I've mentioned earlier, that parents do have their own understanding of how their learners or their child, their students to be taught. If we do not know it, then how can we improve it? So, with them on our side, with them listening to their suggestion and be included in our plan, and it's one way, one good thing to understand that there is a good result coming. Give the entire community a voice in key decision, like what I've mentioned. If we make partners with the community, homeowners, the LGU, the local government unit, and also businesses around their school, if we're going to involve it, going to involve them rather in our decision making, if we're going to give them certain voice, then surely all the all the requests, partnerships that we will be having, it will take place, or all the plans involving them will take place because they have the voice in your improvement plan. Focus on accountability for decision. There is always an accountability for every decision that we are making. It's not just you decide, then later on you let them. No. If you decide it, then definitely there is an accountability after that. So a follow up, a monitoring on a certain decision that has been made should be given a priority. Example, in your school, if you decided that no one is allowed to go to come inside the school, no one. Why no one? Because of a certain COVID cases. So you decided, but the accountability is yours. You're not allowing everyone to get inside your school. So, who will be in charge of the school? It's your accountability. Whatever happens, because you're not allowing anyone, you should be able to understand what is the result of your decisions. Then lead the greater creativity in the design of programs. We must not stop on being creative. It's because this is the norm. This is what is being done. It doesn't mean you cannot modify it. Every school is unique, just like every child is unique. So, whatever your school needs doesn't reflect on the other school's needs because they have their own problem and you have yours. So, being creative, understanding the needs of your school alone You must decide for your school alone, not copying the other school's decision. Okay. So have your own program. If you do a program on feeding, then that's good. If they have a program on health cases, then that's good. If you're going to adapt it, what's your basis? Talk to it, lay down the issues and concern. If it's really priority, that's the time for you to decide. If it's not going to be your priority, then let us settle it for a while. Let's park it somewhere and then later on we talk about it again. Okay, so let's not be a copycat of a certain school. Your school is as important as theirs. So you have to have your own program. You have to have your own uh, design. You have to have your own school implementation plan that suits your school, your community, your learners, and your teachers, not copying from one school to the other. Redirect resources to support the goals developed in each school. So that's why we need to have plan and we need to settle a certain amount to a certain program so that we could have resources. And this time, we could implement our programs based on the plan that we have according to what we have decided to have what we have to have a result on what we have talked about, including your stakeholders. So to lead to realistic budgeting as parents and teacher becomes more aware of the school's financial status, spending limitations, and cost of its program. One important thing is that being transparent. Any donations, any resources, any income that comes into your school must be announced, must be given the information to each and every partners that you have so that definitely you will gain more uh, results on having a donation because you weren't able to keep it by yourself, but you were able to share them how this managing a budget being done. So the trust on managing finances will surely gain its peak and everyone will trust your school on how you manage your finances. Then improve morale of teachers and nurture new leaders at all levels. If you gain the trust of your stakeholders, then definitely your teachers will be proud of how they will become and how the level of your schools will be on the next generation or the next years. Definitely this action won't have a result in a snap, but rather you will be given certain time, years, before you gain certain results on the plans that you have created. But still, focus on the plan, focus on the goal, then definitely soon enough, even if you are no longer in the school as a leader, you will see how the result would be. So in summary, SBM must have the strong support of school staff. Without the school staff, then your boat won't sail. So let us have a unified decision. Let's have a support. Let's gain the support of our school staff so that your plans would go along your way. And as EBM is more successful, it is implemented gradually. It makes, oh yeah, just like what I've said, it's at about 5 years or more to realize the success of the SBM implementation. Most of the time, we were on the third assignment of the school, but the first one is still having its result. And school and district staff must be given administrative training. So you cannot just sit down, have a meeting, then thinking that you will have the result. No, it won't. You must provide them training to understand how this thing goes. It's not just a overnight learning. No, it's not. On how to prepare and be organized of the documents needed for your school base. It's not a one night success, but in a long run, it will gain success if you were able to give them the proper training, proper instruction, and proper guidance on how things works. And also, if you have given them the proper instruction with proper words given. English matters. Then financial support must be provided to make training and take time for regular staff meetings available. So, since we already have the school plan, we need to sit down to have financial plan and include in your training all the finances needed on certain training. If you want results, then definitely finances must be provided. Resources as well. Then your central office would administer must transfer authority to principal, and principals in turn must share this authority with teachers and parents. Let us involve our parents, our teachers, our community as part of the school, not us as the owner of the school, but everyone owns the school. If this is so, then definitely everyone would give concern to the school they belong because they are part of the decision making and they are part of the implementation of this plan that you did. So, how are we going to design school based management? we have we have mentioned several things that we need to gather. But what are we trying to accomplish? What are the pathways and associated conditions for pursuing these more basic ends? These two questions would lead us to where we want to be in the future. Like what I've said, success is not an overnight process. It would take time to gain our uh, goals, just like planting trees. It would take time to have fruits. That's why, first things first, what do you want to accomplish? Do you just want to have proper information dissemination across learning areas together with your community, your stakeholders, or your teachers? Or you want to be someone, school, someone to be known, a school known in the country, a school known in the community, a school known in the division level? Whatever it is your goal, whatever you want to accomplish, then write it down, share it to your stakeholders so they could gain also idea of what you want to do. Probably they could share things, they could share ideas that would help them in designing your school-based management. Where do you want to go? How are we going to do that? So if you will be laying your cards, then definitely someone in your group will be able to understand, someone in your group will be able to help you lead the way. Okay, first things first, you must establish a clear vision of designed outcomes. Vision, like what I've said, it's not an overnight, so probably 5 years or more, that's the time for you to reap what you sow. Then, national goals. Are we connected? Are we aligned on what is the goal of our national government for the education? We must follow them. We should not uh, go across their path. We should go follow the path. Then, establish clear, centralized policy standards that provide guidelines for schools. So, if your national government has these guidelines for the school, a policy standard, follow these and do not break rules, but try to uh, go be blend on it and have it done according to the standards. Leadership, it's on you. You must be strong enough. You must have a political support. You must be a leader on top. You should lead your team. You should act as a leader, not a boss, trying to point this, point that, point whatever, but you're not telling them how to do it. You won't gain success. Leader must tell them what to do, show them what to do, not just stay on your office and then talk about your ideals, then do nothing at all. So you won't gain from it. Then capacity building. If you want a result, then capacitate your team. Not just by giving them something to read. It's not capacitating. Involve them in your decision. Give them support. Give them training so that they would understand, they would gain not just from your thoughts, not just from the books that you have given, but from the experience on joining a certain training. Then equity, initial and compensatory and reactive strategies to ensure equitable funding to school. Again, we should be transparent enough to be able to show them what is happening what we have gained, especially finances, so that the trusts of our community will be given to you as a school leader. So, principles of school based management as to level of practice and validation. So, leadership, what do you need? What are the trainings you provided? What have you done? What plans have you laid down? Were it able to materialize? Were it able to be monitored by someone so that you know you are still on the track? Then, curriculum and instruction. Are we following a certain curriculum and instruction as to our national policy? Or are we still on the previous policy that we are? So we need to be updated. We need to modify. We need to sail on the modern situation. Let us not be confined on the four classroom, or let us go out of the box that we used to. Okay? The governance. How do we organize certain issues and concerns? Are we giving proper treatment? Are we giving enough information on how things works inside the school? Finance and resource management mobilization. Are there certain person involved in this financing resources, or you alone are doing it? We should be able to know how to delegate work. Let us not uh, embrace all the tasks at once, but rather learn to trust so that people around us will be trained on the job training so that they would be able to know how this really things works. In the Philippines, we have this monthly uh, amount that is given to us in form of MOOE. So how are we going to have an operation of our school? It is not for the principal alone to do that, but it should be shared to all the personnel because they are the ones who needs the finance support, especially nowadays that we are in pandemic. We need to have uh, improve their internet connection because we do the online classes, and if we're not, then we are not helping them. It's one part of a school leader to help our teachers materialize their ideas as well. It is our job as school head, as school leader, to be able to uh, embrace the burdens of our teachers by helping them, giving them what they need. Human resource and team development. It's not just all about gender and development. It's not just about having an outing outside, but how you encourage them to be someone that they thought of years from now. Encouraging them not to stay on a certain position for several years, but to push them to go, to grow professionally, to go and uh, long for what they need to be, because we see certain potentials to our learner, to our teachers, and they only need to be tapped. Some really are just uh, shy not to tell you, but if you're going to tap them, you would see them that they need to have certain trainings and guidance coming from a school head. Then the learning environment. Are we ready for the next school year, for this another setup of hybrid learning? So are we ready for that? Are the materials for the learners ready? Are the school ready? This is one thing that our school partners be involved in, preparing our school to be a conducive learning environment. So this is the principle of school-based management as to level of practice and validation. Leadership, curriculum instruction, governance, finance, resources, management, mobilization, human resource and team development, and learning environment. So, for every positive reaction, for every positive action, there is a negative reaction. So, not every, just like what I want to say, not everyone can be pleased. So not everyone could go could embrace your ideas. Not everyone would love to hear your thoughts. Not everyone would agree with your uh, ideas. So just like what SBM is, government are trying, international agencies as well, are trying to give efforts towards education improvement. Still, there are people who are not um, does not have the access of this. So, like indigenous people, like poor families, marginalized group. Although, as much as possible, we want everyone to have this quality education. That's why we all have partnership in the entire world to help us gain quality education. But in a certain matter, this goal was not realized accordingly. There are still people who was not able to access education, even if it's for free, mostly from developing countries that does not excel in certain subjects. Some, even if we help them, they deteriorate. Some, even if we give them, even if we include them in our plans, like the feeding program that we have, after a while you will see they will still belong to a certain group of um, malnourished. What happened to your feeding program after school? Because really, we cannot beat poverty if we are not going to give proper education to our community. It is our great responsibility to help each and everyone in our area to gain knowledge so that they would not stay um, naive, they would not stay unknowledgeable of what they are now. So it's our task to give them proper knowledge, to give them uh, understanding of what really is life. With SBM, with school based management, if we are able to convey our message with the partnership of certain stakeholders, parents, and the teachers, really learners will be able to understand and gain such from the effort that will be exerting on this school-based management. So SBM, it's a decision-making authority and holds that shift and formulating of decision will lead to improvement in delivery of education. If everyone will gain quality education, then we will be able to beat poverty in the long run. So that's for the SBM. So communication is one of the most important skills you required for successful life. Again, if we will be able to communicate clearly, everyone would understand our goals, our aim, and our focus, then school will be successful. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your this informative presentation with our participants. So you said that you want to share Google Drives, some
Yes,
part with
ma'am.
our
I'll be sharing the Google Drives for them to recall and review what I have already discussed. And this is it, everyone, for you to understand this. And you could review what we have talked about. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope that you were able to gain learning from the discussion that we have done this afternoon. So I have already shared the link. Did I?
Yes, ma'am. I have shared this link in our comment section.
Yeah, okay. So if there are some issues or concerns that you want to have a clear understanding, more understanding of this, I am I am going to answer queries as well.
Okay, ma'am. So we will know about this review in our QA session after the quiz session, ma'am.
Hmm. So I'll be giving you the link as well.
Okay. So thank you again, ma'am. So After the quiz, we come back with you in our Q&A session. So stay with us now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So dear participants, get ready for our next session, that is quiz. And don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in our comment box. And you can also share this in your timeline, Facebook groups, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn also. So after this short video, we'll come back. So hello everyone, once again in our quiz competition session. So right now we have 31 participants who have already joined in this session, and let me tell you the joining process. You can see the joining link in our comment box, or also you can directly go to www.slido.com, and today's quiz code is IGP. And before joining, please put your full name because it will print in the winner certificate. So, dear participants, we will wait for up 2 or 3 minutes, then we'll start it. Right now, we have 48 participants who joined with us. Thank you all for joining in this quiz session. We have Sir Joseph, then we have Sir Jeffrey, Ma'am Rosal, Sir Ashok Kumar Adhikari, Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario, Ma'am Emily, Ma'am Janelle, Ma'am Upama, then we have Sir Michelle, okay, we have Sir Vicky Artolima, Ma'am Garima Sharma, Sir Edrine, Ma'am Sheila, Ma'am Janeline Boha Mandave, Ma'am Emily, and so many participants. All right, we will start within a minute. So everyone get ready for the quiz. We have right now 55 participants have joined, and today we will provide 10 certificates to top 10 winners. So thank you again for joining in this session. So let's start it. So the first question is, what is communication? Process of transmitting information or process of changing information. And we have only 8 seconds left. So let's see the right answer. So the correct answer is option number 1, that is process of transmitting information, and 88% answered correctly. So let's see our leaderboard. In the first round, we have Ma'am Garima Sharma, placed first position. Following, we have Ma'am Sonam Yangchen, then we have Ma'am Jigbidori, Sir Mailing Bigaras, and Sir Napoleon Bittersalud. So congratulations, those answered correctly. So moving to next question, question number 2. Okay, it's a blank question. Feedback is a blank, and then you have to answer second option of a message. So idea and thought or reaction and response. Feedback is what? Okay. So 23% chose the option number 1 and 77 chose option number 2. So let's see the right answer. And the correct answer is option number 2, that is reaction and response. And feedback is a reaction and response of a message. So congratulations everyone, those answer correctly. Okay, in this round we have Namjouri and Network Kabasas. So congratulations. Following Sir it's Michael G. Gasser. Then we have Charlie and El Infante. Then we have Sir Alan H. Brutus, and finally Ma'am G. Midori. So we will proceed to the next question. Effective communication will lead you to a successful what? Listener or audience? So the correct answer is option number 1, that is listener. So effective communication may lead you to a successful listener, and 78% answer correctly. Again, we have Manjori and Nakrakabasas. Okay, let's see the next question. It's and true false. These abilities may be considered as communication barrier. So it's untrue or false. Okay, and the right answer is true, and 48% of our participants chose the right answer. In this round, we have Mancherry and an Infante placed first position. Okay, following Christina Vidal Rosario, following Upama Rashist, following Jigbidohi, and Sir Ashok Kumar Adhikari. So moving to next question, question number 5. The second most spoken language in the world is French or Chinese? Okay, the time is up. Let's see the right answer. 57% goes with French and 43% chose Chinese. So let's see the right answer. Okay, the right answer is option number one, that is French. Okay. In this round, we have Madam Cristina Vidal Rosario leading on top. Okay, so let's see the next question, question number six. Most important life skill one must possess: communication skills or drawing skills. Correct answer is communication skills, and 100% of our participants answered correctly. Again, Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario placed first position, following Ma'am Janeline Borja Mandave, following Ma'am Junel Lor Mandave, and then we have Ma'am Jigby Dohi, and finally Ma'am Sona Reaction. So everyone, we are moving to next question. Question number 7. How many principals are the in SBN? 4 or 6? Correct answer is option number 2, that is 6. And 43% of our participants chose the right answer. Still now we have Ma'am Cristina Vidal Rosario leading on first position, following Ma'am Janeline Borja, following Ma'am Junelin Lord Mandave, then we have Sir Michael Jikesser and Ma'am Marlita Nilo. Okay, we are moving to next question, question number 8. Which of the following are external stakeholders? Learners or local government officials? So let's see the right answer. And the correct answer is local government officials, and 74% chose it. So congratulations, those answered correctly. In this round, we have Manjanadin Borhamandave leading on top. Okay, we have lost 2 more questions. Let's see the next question, question number 9. Okay, it's true false. Again, the value of school-based management is to redirect all efforts to support improvement of learning outcomes. So, is it a true or false? The correct answer is true, and 98% chose the right answer. Again, we have Manjanet and Morha placed first in our leaderboard. And let's see the last question, question number 10. So, are you ready, everyone? At the school level, school heads, teachers, and students work together with the community leaders and local government officials and other stakeholders to improve school performance. So, again, it's on true or false, and you have to answer it. So, 98% majority of the participants chose the correct answer. That is true. Okay, let's see our leaderboard and our winners name. So congratulations, Ma'am Janeline Boham Mandavi. Then we have Ma'am Junel Flor Mandavi placed second position, and Christina Vidal Rosario placed third. Sir Michel G. Kessel placed fourth. Then we have Sir Napoleon Bittersolino placed fifth. And let's see the next name. We have Ma'am Marlita Milo placed sixth, and Jigme Duri placed seventh. Then we have Sir Grace Sarato placed eighth. Sir Ashok Kumar Adhikari placed 9, and finally, last but not the least, that is Mankarin Gayoso placed 10. Okay, so congratulations to our top 10 quiz winners. So dear participants, dear winners, will get your winner's certificates from our Facebook official page. So thank you again for participating in this session. So dear participants, get ready for our next session, that is QA, and we will come back after a short video with our honorable speaker. So get ready with your question to ask our speaker. And also don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in our comment box. Once again, hello ma'am in our QS session.
Yes, I'm ready. Bring it on. I've seen, I've read the question of
Yes,
Sir
I noticed
Farmi
that.
Ali.
I'm just sharing, yes.
Yeah.
And the first question is, ma'am, what do any differences among them, or they are some term? International, global, and universal language.
Actually, if we're going to read or if we're going to analyze, the context is just the same, but how we use it is different. The first one is the international. Most of the time, it's being used for the business purposes as international treaty, as international package or whatever. And the global would mean worldwide. So most of the time, this is being used for the statistics. Okay. And for the universal, it's a grand use. So something that is grand or an activity that is grand. So we use the universal. So for this, the language, English language, is the grand. We use it worldwide, internationally. That's why English is a universal language.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's see the next question. Okay, the next question is from Evelyn Perry. Good afternoon, ma'am. What could be the best practice in teaching English to our grade 7 learners? Thank you.
Okay, best practice in teaching English. Uh, if it's from the Philippines, is she?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think for the grade 7, especially that we have gaps for 2 years because of the pandemic. Definitely the best strategies that we could give is the follow through, and the strategies must be given according to their level. If we're going to use the Philippine IRI reading inventory, Ma'am Evelyn, I guess it's best for you to evaluate first the learner, so we could base which level is our learners included. Is he Are they included in the struggling, or are they included in the frustrating? But if they are included in the independent level, then definitely you only need to enrich them. But if they are under the struggling reader, then we must start from the basic. Uh, Grade 7 must be able to read and comprehend. But if we are on the comprehension side of the reading practice, giving certain books or stories that would enhance or that would practice their thinking skills is the best way. And with your guidance as teacher, basic would be the best one.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Sir Farmonali and Ma'am Daisy Fur, we will share our international webinar code in the end of our program in the certification process. So you have to wait till the end of our program.
Yes, sorry.
And I have shared the link you have given, ma'am, in the comment box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's for everyone to use. If you would love to use it in your school lac session, or if you want to use it to give your audience a additional learning of what English really matters and the school base, it's for you to use. Sharing is caring.
Absolutely. So, dear knowledge seeker, you have any query or any question, please write down in our comment box.
You're welcome, Ma'am Evelyn. I have read the comment. She said thank you. So welcome, Ma'am Evelyn.
So, we are still waiting for new question. Let's see. It needs access, ma'am. About what?
I think they're referring to the drive. It's already
Sure.
everyone has the access. Yeah, it's already shared, and there's no restriction for that. Everyone is a viewer.
Okay, we are taking last question from Sir Parmanadike. Ma'am, are you going to upload this video because we want to listen it again? Which video?
I think it will be posted in the YouTube, right, ma'am?
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's asking about the whole program video, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Saray Liviran. Ma'am Lane, good afternoon. Any advice for the learners who are stuttering when speaking English?
The first things first is that if the learners is non-native English speaking, then definitely they will have this problem.
Yes.
But if you will let them, just like what Mom Evie asked earlier about the strategies and best practices, why not have your English time for the day so that they would be forced in speaking in English,
Mhm.
even if it's in a murmur thing. Do not ever correct them at once, but in a light manner, tell them, just re-speak the word according to the proper, but never say your grammar is incorrect. Definitely from that time on, they will not have the confidence to speak again the language. But encourage them just by saying, "How are you? How do you do? What have you eaten this morning?" From that word alone, they would be able to speak to you in a few words in English. So let them speak, never correct them at once.
I think we
Soon
should.
enough, they will be perfectly speaking the word.
Yes, ma'am. And I think that we should practice more on pronunciation.
Yes, definitely. That's why I already included earlier on the slides that we must expose our learners in listening to music, especially in English, or movies in English, so that they would be able to adapt the conversation that they are able to encounter.
Exactly. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you again. Thank you for sharing your valuable presentation with our participants and sharing your precious time with us. Thank you again, ma'am.
Always pleasure to help everyone as I could. Hoping that everyone was able to learn from the discussion that we have, even it's a few hours. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless us all. Keep safe.
Have a great day, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, dear participants, we are moving to our certification process. And thank you for waiting still now with us. And the process. Okay, so the program name is today's program name English Matters and School Management, and the code is IGP 3404. Let me tell you once again, the code is IGP 3404, and without code, you cannot eligible for the certificates, and with code, you can claim your certificates anytime. Or you can visit our website. Our website address is www.eduigp.com. So collect your certificates e-certificates, and don't forget to celebrate with IGP. So, dear lovely participants, dear knowledge seeker, thank you once again for your participations and your cooperations. And I'm inviting all of you to our next program in the evening. So don't miss it and collect your quiz certificates from our Facebook official page. So I'm ending our program with the famous quote of Sir Albert Einstein, that is, once you stop learning, you start dying. So never stop learning. Learn with IGP, stay with IGP. Thank you again. I'm Nasrin Nishal from Bangladesh signing off right now. Have a great day to all of you. Thank you.